One day I opened a book, oh such a look, as I started to read in a long time it took. We all know about taking a swim, but at first I was paddling amongst these words, as if a flat stone to skim. But then, in a black and white sea of words, I started to trudge to deeper depths. Leafed across pages of a vanished horizon, leafed across the pages roll of the tide, the alignment of waves. To suddenly notice the words and letters with many little black mouths as they turned into perhaps small biting piranha fish that leapt from the page, nip, snap, and splashed back down. I do not wear glasses, so I had no protection as I glared on the words to try and visual its language. But still the letters jumped up to my face. I pulled my head back from the book with my eyes squinted and eyebrows scrunched. But one piranha fish bit my nose. Ouch! It hung there, clutching and biting down hard. I shake my head from side to side to release that stubborn letter that clung to my nose. It flew off and hit an ornament on the mantelpiece. Crash! Splinters flew everywhere. I breathed in deeply. My heart raced as I closed the book and threw it on the floor. The book rattled and shook from the energy of words trying to leap and jump from inside. Thud, thud, knock. It could have quite easily hobbled across the floor with its deranged movement. Humpty bump. My eyes fixed, bright and wide in strain, I suddenly shook my head and thought, don't be silly. Words and letters can do you no harm. My eyes turned back to the sight of the book that now lay still, where dust could settle on its jacket. It was a lovely cover of a painterly ocean blue, swirled with creatures of the deep, mysteriously aquatic tints that hint on the stilled voice print, a speech in a glint that sparkles its need to know the words that are meant. After long thinking, I got up and picked the book back up. Clasping it tight, I sat in hope, laying it neatly on my lap. It nestled there as a piece of art. Shall I dare reopen it? With one hand holding tight the book, and the other lifted its front cover over, slowly finding where I had left off, thumbing over the pages, to remember that I had made it to page 10. As I pondered my gaze, all was still. Words drifted in their rows as the summer's ocean of trickling waves, a beach without a breeze. I gently read on. Boats were tied up at the quay, bobbing their hop as I walked along syllable after syllable, then being tied in a knot with words like rosaceous, apocalyptic or vocabulary, words with excellent knot knowledge, where they tied my tongue to the book. As I pulled the book away, my tongue stretched out to 17 inches before it uncurled from those words, flicking back and slapping my face. Smack! I wiped the slobbers away from my cheeks and pushed my tongue back into my mouth. A moment's ease as I blinked. Then I continued to read on. The words started linking up like a chain. Black-grey metallic circles interconnected as I followed them into the anchor's abyss. But just as much there were words I had to look up to heaven for understanding, the bright and the profound, the sublime and the aesthetic. But then came many words to look up. I was gorging and trying to chew on their understanding, to try and digest their meaning, which gave me an upset tummy. I swallowed with a gulp. The words stuck in the tubes of my body. My mouth was packed full of these letters. I moved the puffed bulge from cheek to cheek until both were equally rounded. Letters spat and spewed out of my mouth, puh, and bounced on the floor. My hand tightly rubbed my head. Then I got up and emptied my mouth of letters into the bin, after releasing a deep breath and a sigh. Bloodshot in their stare, I rubbed my eyes to try and get clarity, as I still continued to read on. The black letters swam around, snapping and roaring their designs. They started to jump back out from the page, whipping their tails, as if an electric eel, my eyes in layers of a glazed peel to cut a dry sting. Wings of iron with a Q's dragon tail, a red-tipped poker of a tongue, burning a flush as it jabbed my eye, grip this look, holding the burning words in a burnt sight. I tried hard to pull away. My hands started to shake, and my arms' muscles taut as I held the book. The paragraphs map. It was a platform game where I ran between and on the words. Space lines separate different worlds, letters of complete kingdoms, to the W's valleys, to the mountains, to the M's mountains. My whole body tenses, energy passed through me. As my legs start to twitch, I must let go, I must turn away. Suddenly, an angel taps me on the shoulder and said, "You do not have to read." So with this given will, I closed the book with a snap and puff of air and set it firmly to one side, with a bookmark left in, just to pretend where I had read up to. Thank you.